Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses, and today I'm at Moonraker Motorcycles in Norwich yet again with the new Voge R625. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. Now, using the same Kel 600 design engine from Voge, the same as the 625X, this one, even though it's called a 625, is actually 581 cc's with a 270 degree crank for that more throaty sound. Develops 64.3 brake horsepower and 43 pounds-foot of torque. And of course 6-speed transmission. Now you also get the upside down KYB front forks, but they're not adjustable, and the KYB rear monoshock. You get the twin 298mm front discs with double piston calipers either side, and a 240mm rear disc with a single piston caliper, obviously with Bosch dual channel ABS. You get 17-inch wheels front and rear with a 120 front tyre and a 160 on the back, and that's Pirelli Angel GT rubber. Size-wise, it's pretty typical, 2.1 metres long, 770mm wide, 1.1 metres tall. Seat height is only 785mm, so that's pretty good. I'm 5'10.5", 31.5-inch inside leg. Seated on here very comfortably with my feet flat on the floor with a slight angle outwards. Works well enough for me. It feels like not a small bike, but a typical sort of street bike, not unlike the CBR 650 or the CBR 500. Lots of farty cars around at the moment, small cars with loud farty exhausts. But yeah, it feels very comfortable. I'm keen to get it out. It doesn't feel very heavy, and it's only 190 kilos. And I don't think that's that bad. You get a 16-litre fuel tank, which apparently on paper is good for 215 miles. So that's not too bad. But let's have a look at the dash before we take it out. So you've got a decent display. When you turn it on, it comes up the little Voge symbol. That's quite a nice looking dash. You've got the dark mode or the light mode. Traction control on this as well, and different modes. So you push the mode button on the right-hand switchgear here. You've got normal, and then you've got sport. Normal and sport. I quite like how it changes the rev counter here, but you've got your gear indicator down the bottom there, your miles per hour, your rev counter, traction control symbol up there, and that moves obviously if you go back into normal mode to over here, and you've got the more traditional dial. So on the left-hand switchgear is your traction control button there, your flash and your main beam button there, which I quite often find that if it's here, sometimes you can catch your glove on it and accidentally knock it into headlight main beam when you're on here, but you know, that's just me maybe. And then the enter button here for the trip display and your settings. So settings, you've got your language, different units, Bluetooth connection obviously to pair your phone to it. Quite simple to use. It's pretty good. So that traction control button also acts as the back button. But, then your indicators here, hazard flashes, and this is your up and down. When you go onto your menu, you push that to take your menu up, and then you move up and down, my vehicle. The average miles per gallon on this is showing at 52.2, and it's done 148 miles. 472 miles to the next service, so obviously I have to take it a little bit easy. I can't thrash it, but that's very easy to use. You've basically got two buttons. This one is to go into the different modes, that one to go up and down the menu, and then that one there is your third extra button to go back and out if you want to. But yeah, quite generic switch gears, but they work really well, to be fair. Nice exhaust pipe, stainless steel exhaust of course, and that I think works nicely. I personally am not a fan of matte black. A lot of people do, but I don't like matte black because I think it shows up every little mark and every little bit of dirt. So I personally prefer it in a different colour. That's just personal taste. I mean, looks are subjective anyway. Quite a nice looking headlight unit with the DRLs around the side there. and we'll see what that's like when we're riding on the lights. But yeah, let's start it up and have a listen, shall we? Well, you can definitely hear that 270-degree crank there as the blubber, 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 blubber burble through the exhaust. It is warm. Nice revvy sound to it. I like that. That sounds pretty good. Right then, let's get out on the road on it. But just before we do, let's have a look at these back lights. Quite a nice light arrangement there. Indicators are just down here above the number plate. And on the front, obviously LED lights and indicators. Let's see how they work. Yeah, they're indicators, they work. And all very visible on the back there. What about the brake light? Yes, you get one of them too. So here we are on the Voge R625, waiting at roadworks traffic lights. And let's see how it performs on the road. Now, one thing I can definitely say is that the seat height, only 785mm, definitely feels low. Not too low, but it definitely feels low. So anyone who's sort of, let's say 5'8", and possibly even less, would have no problem on this whatsoever. That seat height is a major advantage. For me, I am very flat-footed with a bend in my knee, and yeah, it feels decent. Picks up okay, bearing in mind that was third gear. We'll see what it's like. Nope, too busy being on a cruiser. We'll see what it's like on the dual carriageway, and in fourth gear I'm going to take it up to 60 and see how that pulls. So bearing in mind, even though it's 625, it's a 581cc, not a 625cc. And here we go, up to speed. Yeah, pulls pretty nicely. Into fifth and then into sixth. Fantastic. To start off, I'm going to go straight down the dual carriageway and see how it fares at 70. Yeah. Visibility wise, it's alright. It's not brilliant, I'll be honest. The mirrors, again, the Storts could be doing with it being an inch longer, because I'm getting about 75 to 80% visibility, maybe even a little bit less than that, to be honest, maybe about 70% visibility, and I'm having to physically move my head to have a look. But yeah, it's alright, it's not brilliant. I'm going to go the other way, so I'm going to take a couple of roundabouts and see what it's like. We'll go back the other way and down the dual carriageway, a slightly different route this time. But yeah, these Angel GTs are holding their own quite nicely, cornering quite well, nice and stuck. Changes direction quite sharply and powers out very nicely. That's quite impressive, actually. It doesn't look like I'm going to get a good run down that road to the dual carriageway. But never mind. We'll see what it's like as I pull out onto the second lane. Feels quite composed. It's quite a windy afternoon. I'm not really being blown around. It's pretty well planted, but I think because of the low seat height and everything else, the low centre of gravity helps. Yeah. Okay, that actually crept up on me surprisingly. much better than I thought. Yeah, surprised at that. It is very blustery, but it's doing quite well. Let's take some of these country roads and see what it's like. I don't foresee this being too much of an issue. It's quite pleasing. Great gear change. Comes down through the gears. Very nice and easy to change gear. It makes you want to ride it a bit more spiritedly. Oh, this is very pleasing. This feels very well balanced in terms of how it sits and how the gearing is done. Great gearing. It changes gear smoothly, seamlessly, I would say. The only thing I don't like so far is to say the visibility is not brilliant. Mechanically, I've got no real issues so far. Let's go down here. I don't really know where I am, so we'll just see where the road takes us. Oh! Oh, this is good. I know where I am. Oh, do you know what? This is not bad at all. Very pleasing. See how sharp the brakes are. Oh yeah, that pulls up superbly. Great brakes. Nice. Right, see what it's like on the launch. Up to 60. And there we go. That's good. I'll try not to go on there. Let's do a turn round. Oh, easy balance. Slow speed, balance, very good. And off it goes. Yeah, this is great fun. At slow speed, round town or through a village, 30 miles an hour in fourth gear is absolutely fine. It's not feeling jolty in any way. Works quite nicely. And as we come up to the 60 mile an hour limit, let's see how that pulls. Yep. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that pulls really well. Gets up to 60, no problem at all. That's quite a pleasing little bike, this is. Do you know what? I always like to be critical as much as possible, but I'm not really finding any fault. I've got no buzz through the foot pegs, I've got no buzz through the grips or anything like that. The grips feel comfortable enough. The seating position is nice and comfy. The seat's quite forgiving. I'm not getting anything buzzing through the seat either. Everything just seems quite nice. It's a good mid-range commuter bike. I think it would work well on all fronts really. To and from work, in town, dual carriageway, motorway. It's a bit of a do-it-all really. Just zipping along the country roads, 5th and 6th works really nicely. It doesn't feel buzzy when you get up in the revs. That says 270 degree crank really makes a massive difference in a parallel twin. It just sort of smooths out any worries about fizziness, and I'm not getting any FFS whatsoever, which is a new phrase I've coined, fizzy foot peg syndrome. Unlike that BSA double act tested last week, it's absorbing them quite well. But I have noticed you've got quite a decent pad on these, so it does make a bit of a difference, the thickness of the pad. So as you sit behind a stinky bin lorry, let's see what it's like trying to get past it. It gets back up to speed superbly. Oh, I've got nothing to complain about there. Yeah, that takes it up to speed very nicely. It sort of takes corners really well. Nice and planted. Great grip from these tyres. Nice suspension setup. It soaks up any lumps and bumps. I'm not getting any knobbles or any jolts. Suspension works really, really well. Another great bike from Voge, to be fair. Everything they've come up with so far has worked superbly. Suspension just sort of drifts it around a corner. Excellent. Very well set up bike. A nice all-round joyous bike, shall we say. Wow, okay, well, I could ride this for hours, to be fair. And I honestly haven't found anything I don't like about it. And that's unusual. Well, no, okay, the fact that it only comes in matte black, I don't like that. I don't like matte black, and that would put me off. If they brought out a different colour, or bought a different colour to the UK, that would be preferable, because not everybody is a fan of matte colours. I know matte black is popular and people do like it. I don't. Not only because I don't like the look of it, but also just don't like the way it feels. And when I say feels, that's the wrong word. I don't like the way you have to do extra looking after of it, you know. You've got to really look after matte black and clean it a lot with only matte polish. Otherwise you put a shine on it, and that's frustrating. What a brilliant little thing. So it skips around these little country corners very nicely. I haven't got a single problem with any part of the bike. Not the way it rides, not the way it brakes, not the way it feels, not how comfortable it is. Not a single thing. And that's unusual for me. You just got the confidence to get it through a corner and have a blast with it. Literally, have a blast. You don't have to prepare for jolts in the road because the suspension soaks it up really well. And as I say, it's not often that I can 100% praise a bike, but as an all-rounder, it's superb. Now, on paper, a 600cc style bike is not something I personally would go for, but being objective about it from a general would I own one point of view, if you're in the market for a 600, this is ideal, absolutely ideal. I personally don't need a 600 other than a scrambler, so a 600 street bike is not really something I'm in the market for. But if you are in the market for a mid-range street commuter type bike, this is absolutely spot on. Now, so far I've had it in normal mode, so I put it in sports mode, and let's see how that picks up. I mean, it doesn't feel a huge bit of difference. I mean, obviously you've got a completely different dash layout now, but other than that, it doesn't make a massive bit of difference. I'm going to slow right down, there's nothing behind me. to 30 miles an hour and then see what it's like picking up. Oh yes, oh yes, that is definitely different, definitely. Oh, that makes a big difference. Oh yeah, that does pick up a lot quicker in sport mode. Well, that makes a whole different ball game. That makes it more enjoyable. You can see, if you go into the shade, the dash colour changes, and then we come back into the light, that'll go back to the white screen. There you go. Oh yeah, it feels like it wants to fly a little bit more coming out of the corners. Oh, sport mode is fun. Ah, do you know what? Even if you're not just in for a mid-range style bike, it'll kind of do it for you. So I'm quite keen to see whether the sport mode makes a difference on the pickup on the dual carriageway. I mean, it doesn't make it any jolty either, or any more jolty. In fact, there's no jolt at all. So when you open up, it's still quite smooth. You just feels as though it wants to go a bit quicker. So I'm not feeling any negativity in terms of jolts, but let's see what the pickup is like. Oh yeah, wow, yeah, I mean, hopefully you can see the difference there. That definitely picks up a lot quicker on the dual carriageway, and sitting at 70 miles an hour doesn't feel jolty. I'm not seeing any negatives. That's a great setup. What a brilliant little bike. I love the way that 270 crank sounds as it comes down through the gears. Low speed balance is good. At 5 mile an hour, feels nice and easy to keep upright. I'm not sort of wobbling about or anything. Wow. Very impressed. Well done, Voge. Nice little sports commuter. Yeah, definitely a bike to have fun with. Yeah, in sport mode, definitely. Oh, I should have tried that sooner. But you can tell the difference between the two. Nice and flickable. Yeah, great little bike. Great little bike indeed. So there you go. With that, it's back to the outside of Moonrakers. I would say back to the studio, but I'm not there. Price £4,999 plus on the road costs and 2 years parts and labour warranty. So by the time it's on the road, you're looking at maybe £5,200. That's not bad at all for a 625cc. That's phenomenal. Let's see how it compares to So as you can see, what an absolute bargain it is, and it rides superbly. Now, it's not my style of bike personally, you know, a mid-range street style sports bike is not something I technically go for, but for what it is, for the money, it is superb. I am very pleased with how it performs for the price you get. If you're in the market for a mid-range street sports bike, I think it's definitely worth a test ride. Get down and try one out. Matte black, as I say, not really a fan of it. Every market shows up, don't like the matte black. I would definitely go for another colour, but here's the colours that they do. So there you go. And that's it for this episode. I think it's an absolute bargain of a bike for what you get. The value for money is superb, and I'm finding that across the range with Voge and the likes of QJ and everything else that's coming through at the moment. So get down there and check one out. And that brings me to the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Click the notification bell for more uploads, and I will see you very soon for more. So until then, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye.